Six after 9 o'clock. Welcome back to Salam Media News and Views. And of course, we also welcome our Polokwane listeners on One Nation FM. We do hope you're going to stay with us for the next hour. Lots coming your way. And next, we are going to be talking about Colored Lives Matter. Is Riverlea a ticking time bomb? And our guest to talk to us about this um, uh, very burning issue, shall I say, is Clint Winnaar. He is a Riverlea community leader, and we're also going to be talking with Pastor Anthony Sherman. He's the chairperson of Riverlea Extension 2 Residents Association and Riverlea Extension 2 Community Police Forum. A very good morning to both of you. Welcome to the program. And I am really very, very sorry to hear about all of the drama, lives lost, people living in fear in the Riverlea area. Welcome, good people. And let's get an update as to where we're at regarding Colored Lives Matter. Let's start with you, Pastor Anthony Sherman.
Good morning, Julie, and thank you again for the opportunity. I trust that all the listeners can hear us clearly.
Clearly, thank you.
We have to understand that within a country that is so diverse as ours, it is imperative that there needs to be a mutual respect and appreciation for all groupings. But as we see it, it seems that the colored or so-called colored has been neglected and forgotten about in all phases of our lives in South Africa. And again, this weekend indicated that very clearly. Here we had running battles between foreign nationals, shooting with high caliber rifles, killing each other, uh, endangering the community of Riverlea Extension 2 and Riverlea Extension 3, 5, and Riverlea proper. And nothing has been done about it. Uh, Many calls have been done to the Langlaagte police station for law and order intervention, and nothing has happened up to now. That is the disappointing aspect of it all, because when you really look objectively, that we have been calling as the Residents Association for the removal of Zamampilo, for the closure of all illegal mining activity. We have appealed to we have also presented our request to the subcommittee of mining of Parliament, which was here a couple of months ago, going through the area. We have appealed to the subcommittee of Parliament for police, and yet nothing has transpired. Yesterday we saw that it culminated over the weekend over people being killed, and even though reports in the media says five, as a community we have witnessed more than five being killed. I myself have seen two lying in the streets of Riverlea Extension 2, which is Horseshoe. Two of those individuals also were shot in front of my gate, and we had to call the emergency guys in, and they battled for more than a half an hour just to stabilize the two. But at the end of the day, we see that the Minister of Police, Becky Cele, came in a very hurried manner and also promised us a 24-hour response. This morning, you could see on the various news agencies that the Zamazamas were operating freely. They were running across the main reef road very freely and going about their business. Yet, the promises made yesterday afternoon by the Minister Becky Cele has not materialized into anything. There was going to be a presence of high security units within SEPs, and yet that is non-existent. Thus also, we experienced another death within Riverlea itself, Riverlea proper, last night. So you're really asking yourself the question, does colored lives really matter to our government?
Okay.
Colored
All
lives
right,
really matter.
let's move over to you, Clint Winnaar. You are a community leader there in Riverlea. What do you believe? And I know I've spoken with you guys before a couple of months ago when a similar issue, I think that was a service delivery issue we
That's
spoke
right.
about. But you also at that point touched on the issue around the Zamazamas. What exactly do you believe is going to address this very, very serious problem? Because I know people living in Riverlea, and when I reached out to find out how they were doing, I was told by the lady's sister that my family are living. They virtually prisoners in their own homes from after 5 every evening. So, Clint, how do you read the situation in Riverlea?
Good morning, Julie, and good morning to all the listeners. And Julie, thanks so much, for having us on your show and allowing us to, just
Vent.
to vent our plight.
Mm.
And believe me, when I say plight, I mean plight. This is a problem that's been coming on a very long time. It started off as small scale mining, and it's rapidly now escalate like to a large scale with and we believe there's deep there's deep rooted like political influence and things involved here.
Beneficiaries.
Beneficiaries, yeah, as Pastor Sherman says. So it's now really escalated now, and it's growing at a rapid rate now. Our main concern here is we have power lines and gas lines and everything running under our houses through our area, and these guys are mining basically right next to these volatile gas
Yeah, the
lines,
infrastructure
and
there.
they, besides causing the damage to the infrastructure, just God forbid one mistake from these guys, if they should rapture any of those gas lines, uh, the it will be a disaster beyond imagination. I think it will make that the Bree Street incident look like child's play, because these guys are mining with dynamite and explosives, basically right next to these lines that are running under our area. So
So,
I shared
Clint,
a
let me come
with
in here. Let me come in here. I just heard
yeah,
some from Release saying to me, this was, we were talking with them last night, and they were saying, and you can then verify whether this is true or not, suggesting that the Zamas are in operation 24/7. You hear blasting of explosives 24/7, and yet the authorities have just turned a
absolutely.
blind eye to this matter. What do you believe is the answer? Somebody else has suggested that perhaps SNDF needs to come in because the police are absolutely useless, incompetent, can't get anything done. Your thoughts and your demands as far as the safety of the community of Riverlea is concerned.
Oh, I agree fully,
Mm.
Julie. I think the only way we're gonna get this whole thing under control is if the army gets in. SNDF
But can I come
does
in
come
there,
on board.
Julie? Can I come
Sure,
in there?
sure.
Yesterday with the minister, that was one of our demands.
Yeah.
One of our demands was that SANDF is deployed in our area in order to get control over the situation, and that all other stakeholders, such as, for instance, human settlement, must
Yes.
must get involved, because there are South African citizens there that must be removed and relocated. Then you find that Home Affairs must come in.
Oh
Home
yes.
Affairs must come in and document every illegal immigrant that is there, and do what the law needs it to do, as well as mining. The mining sector must come in with regards to the ministry, and they must ensure that there is rehabilitation that takes place with all the mine holes and all the entrances that have been done. If you look at the scenario that sits behind a TCS, the Hazen
Yes.
School on Main Reef Road, there is a massive hole in the ground that was given as a license to mine behind a school, and just a few meters from the homes of Riverlea proper. And now that type of behavior is unacceptable,
Unacceptable.
and we have raised these concerns. We have raised it for many years now. Like I say, we have raised all these things yesterday with the Minister of Police,
Again,
and, and we trusting that something will come, because like Clint has elaborated, you sit with environmental disaster,
Mm.
because you have the fuel line that runs through here, you have the gas line that runs through here, and then you have the Rand Water high pressure water system running through here. If anything happens to any one of those three instances, there is a massive environmental catastrophe that can happen within our area, where many, many, many lives will be lost, not just these of the Zamas. And then when you look at it, the Zamas are all foreign nationals coming from Lesotho, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Malawi, etc. And then they are undocumented, because when you look at the Zamampilo camp, there is a 90% foreign nationals in that camp, undocumented, and 5 to 10% is South African citizens that lives there, and yet they are all traumatized by these events, because they suffer just as the community suffer.
Absolutely, absolutely. So they're going through the same trauma as you are. And on the other hand, as well, they're trying to eke out a living. It's a really very, very sad situation as far as the Zamas are concerned. As much as our hearts go out to them, they are in a desperate, useless situation. And this is what has led them to be on your back, in your backyard, literally. Having said that, you also mentioned relocation. Are you talking about relocation of the people of Riverlea to be relocated elsewhere, or are you talking about the Zamazamas being relocated elsewhere? Also, I do know for a long time from our previous conversation, you guys did mention that you were in talks with the representatives of the mining companies. What has transpired since then? And my final question, I've thrown a whole host of questions at you. Do you think the solution would be for them to close up those mines completely, concrete them up, do whatever they need to do to shut them off completely, so Zamas just are totally unable to get access to those mines? And then obviously that would mean that your community as Riverlea and surrounding areas will definitely be safe for many, many more years to come. Who'd like to respond to that?
Duri, if I can come in here. Point number one, we need to look at the following. When we talk of the relocation of people from Zamampilo, it is the South African citizen or the South African contingent that lives there. Those are the people that needs to be taken out of that circumstances first and foremost, because that Zamampilo needs to be closed down completely. With regards to the mining people, the Riverlea Mining Forum, they are engaged in talks with the different mining institutions and also the mining houses with regards to what is transpiring in the area, and they do their research from time to time in the area, and that will be Mr. Van Wyk and them. With regards to our situation with the Zamazamas and the open mines, you can close them. They have been closed a couple of times, and the Zamazamas just come in, they get another entrance, or they just open the old entrance, and that goes unabated. We have to then also look if a more permanent solution needs to be derived at. We have to eventually sit down and talk about relocating the whole communities. And the reason for that is the following. We are on the gold belt. There is still gold in the ground. And if it's not these Zamazamas, there will be someone in the future that comes for it. And the government, at one point in time, we spoke to the geologist of the Department of Minerals. And he told me that there are new equipment and government will maybe even look at mining the gold themselves. Now, I mean, when you speculate the little things like that, then it says what is the intent and the thinking of the Minerals and Energy Department. But what we then have to say is, relocate us, pay us out, or do something in that line, so that we get the people away from the danger of the mining belt. And the mining belt stretches all the way from Springs all the way to Carletonville. And it unfortunately affects everyone that sits on that belt. Riverlea sits on that belt.
Is that a possibility? What about people who've been in that area for many years? It might be 3 generations of the same family having lived there and having traded there. I know of families that have been living there for a very long time. Their parents lived there, the parents have died, they now living there, and their children's children are living there as well. Will people not be reluctant to move and to start start up all over again. And if that does happen, are we not creating another problem? What's going to happen to the houses that you leave behind? Are you not going to get illegal occupation there? And then you're sitting with the very same problem. So when we look at the issue around colored lives, does matter. We need to look at that very, very closely to see if that is viable. I'm going to come back to the army, to the SNDF. Um,
Mhm.
are they up to scratch? Are they going to be able to protect you guys? And what, again, the all important question, the all important question. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, the Zamazamas are also people. They are so desperate. That is why they find themselves in this situation. We need to look at that problem as well. And that problem needs to be addressed so that you in Riverlea, residents of Riverlea that has been there for 3 or 4 generations, can live in peace. Do you want to come
I
in here, Clint?
see.
Yeah. All right,
And then I'll
Julie.
come to you, Pastor.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. All right, Julie, I sympathize, or we sympathize with these miners. We do understand that they are trying to make a living, and believe me, they are really risking their lives for that bag of sand or whatever. But to make a living at the expense of other people's lives, or making a living while putting other people's lives in danger, I don't think it should be allowed. So um, the illegal mining, on its own, it's very dangerous, it is illegal, it's unsupervised, and as you know, it's putting a great deal of lives at
At
risk.
risk. Absolutely. I
So,
agree with you 101%. But
so
let's not forget
Yes.
just how desperate these people
that
are.
these
When
people
I
are.
see them on the streets, I can't believe that this is the life they've chosen out of sheer desperation, and they choose to live underground for weeks and weeks on end. We need to come to some sort of a positive outcome for both the Riverlea residents and for these poor, desperate people. Pastor, your thoughts.
Julie, uh, at the end of the day, we have to first look at law and order.
Yeah,
Without law and order, there cannot be any constructive building taking place in
anything.
anything, whether it's an organization or whether it's a country.
Yeah,
One of the things that we lack in our country is exactly that law and order.
mm,
I think at the end of the day, here you sit with mining houses that has been allowed to manipulate the law and circumvent things and laws that have been put in place on how they should deal with the entities that they're mining in, and these companies have gotten away. They have paid their workers off. These are the very same workers that come back and they can mine
yeah,
these mines that have been abandoned by these
yeah.
conglomerates. At the end of the day, the government is doing nothing about it. We have to find out first and foremost who are the kingpins behind this, because, like I say, speculation is that there are government officials involved in the takes that comes
Yeah.
up on that. Because we have to then understand, as much as a humanitarian issue is involved here with regards to the unemployment and men and women trying to make a living, there has to be a fair measure of law and order as well,
Oh yeah.
and we can't get away from that. But because of how things have gone in our country and how the government have dealt with challenges that faces them, just turning a blind eye to these challenges. That's why the unemployment is so high. That's why we have so many youths that are unemployed. And what's happening is that the youth is going to these activities
Yeah.
in a desperateness just to survive. And that is where
Pastor,
our. Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
we're going to have to wrap up in a few minutes. I could sit here for hours
Yes,
on end
all
talking
the yes,
about this
yeah.
issue because it's a very, very serious issue.
Yes,
It's happening in Riverlea today. It can happen anywhere else in the country tomorrow.
exactly,
So this needs to be addressed at the highest level possible. You've mentioned
exactly.
two very important issues then. it's the mining companies, and I'm wondering, are they not to be held responsible? The
They
mining
must.
companies should have done everything in their power to have shut
Yes,
down those mines in such a
yes.
way that they couldn't and shouldn't be reopened via illegal activities. So
Activities.
that's one issue. And the second very important issue is you guys, as Colored Lives Does Matter, have asked for the army to come in. Do you
Yes.
believe they're up to speed? Will they be able to protect you? Uh, Can you respond to that, please?
On that issue, I say no comment.
Okay.
Because believe me, if I give my comment, it will be derogatory towards the SANDF. And so I would rather say on that issue, from my perspective, no comment.
Okay, so if
From my
the SAN does come in, just their presence, boots on the ground,
Now,
do you
now
think
that's
that,
the,
yeah, do you think
that,
that will then deter the illegal miners? And do you think that will deter them from these open air shootouts in the street, putting innocent residents' lives at risk?
yeah,
now that is true. That is true. And that is one of the reasons why we requested the SANDF. Because when we spoke to SEP's people, they clearly indicated, they said that they ill equipped,
yeah,
they don't have the necessary
manpower.
manpower, and that they themselves don't go into informal settlements. That was a clear message we got from them.
Okay, so where are we at regarding the mining company's responsibility?
I,
We need to hold them culpable for everything that is now playing out, because that's how I've read the picture as you guys have related it to me this morning. Pastor?
Julie, there is money that was kept behind by mineral and energy from mining houses. That is for the purpose of rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation, yeah.
Whether the department is spending that money or not is a different question. But also the policing of these mining houses must be done from minerals and energy.
Okay, where to from here? Pastor, and you, of course, Clint, Winnaar, you guys are holding a flag very, very high up saying that colored lives matter, and I do agree with you. For a long time, I have been hearing colored communities like Eldorado Park as well, but with different issues. With Eldorado Park, it's service delivery and the issue around, illicit drug dealing and drug lords in that area. And you guys are saying colored lives matter. What is the answer? How do we move forward to make these townships safe and keep our children safe as well? Pastor.
I believe it is cooperation between your government institutions as well as the community. There must be a partnership, and the people in our communities must also take ownership of our surroundings and partner people like SEPs and the service delivery issues with regards to Joburg Council or Metro. But ultimately, if we're not going to work together, we are not going to improve the circumstances on the ground. It's a simple thing as that. We have to work together. The communities must come together and bind, because even our own communities, sometimes we are fragmented. And that fragmentation is really unconducive to building something sustainable. We have to come together, take hands, and work together and find solutions. But it's not going to happen if the government institutions are ignoring us as communities and allowing the decay in our communities to continue and persist without there being any form of intervention coming from them.
Okay, SAPS has said that they've requested a 24-hour grace period.
That's what they
They
say.
will be coming back to you and they'll be talking, hopefully, solutions. We don't know yet what they're going to come back with. What are your expectations? We know that this is not going to be a quick fix, but
Yes.
what are your immediate expectations from SAPS, the government, City of Johannesburg, the mining companies, and other role players involved? And do you believe Do you believe that the Zamazamas should be involved in these talks as well so that they can hear how they're endangering entire communities and how they can become role players in making these areas safe again? Pastor.
I think, Julie. I think, Julie, when you look objectively at the situation we find ourselves in, uh, 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 point number one, Joburg Metro's hands are tied when it comes to things like Zamas and things like that. Their hands are tied. They're into service delivery. And as long as they deliver their services, you will find that the people are happy with them. Yeah, we talk about provincial government
Which
and
they
national
don't do
government,
in any case, which they don't
which,
even do. It's in half measures. But anyway,
which they
carry on.
neglect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you look at it, a lot of what we are requiring is from provincial and national government, because there are certain competencies there, such as your SEPs, your SANDF, as well as your Home Affairs and the Human Settlement. All those guys are provincial and national competencies. These people do not want to engage the community. Our expectation is that they will eventually come to the party,
Yeah.
because here is the thing. I spoke to one of the generals yesterday and I said to him, "Sir, these people in these communities are also armed. Imagine that they go on and be vigilantes. Then SEPs will come after us."
That's true.
Eh, and, and and I explained to him, I said, so it is rather better you intervene. It's rather better you and your departments come and solve the problem. Now, with regards to what you mentioned about the Zama's participation, you cannot allow someone that is illegal to participate in a process in a
But you're not,
country
you
that
are
is
not, you are not going to get resolution or buy-in from them if you don't include them. They need to understand the problem that has been created by their illegal activities. And if they're not part of the discussions, you're still going to
but
have
pardon,
this problem ongoing.
but pardon me, Julie, pardon me. But we have to understand it's not the Zamazamas that's the problem. It's the people behind the Zamazamas, the people that are benefiting. And then, like I said earlier, these are South African nationals. They need to be investigated. These guys, we need the special investigations unit to look into these guys' affairs, because we have also just speculated that we think they are politicians and
Yeah.
political people behind this as well.
Exactly.
The Zamazamas are about the general workers.
Yeah, they
They,
only the
they they're
workers.
illegal. They're illegal in the country.
Okay, so you have your work cut out for you. You
Yes,
need to
oh,
identify, you need to identify who these gold lords are, probably sitting somewhere in a high-rise office in Sandton City or in Sandton. You guys you really have your work cut out for you. All I can say is we're going to follow the story. In closing, what would you both like to say to us? Clint, you go
Glenn,
first.
in closing.
No. Okay. In closing, Julie, we really just want to thank you for, as I say, for allowing us, to just voice our grievances on your radio station. And we really, personally, I really think that the Army, SANDF, should come on board, because this thing is, it's just too big for SAPS, it's too big for the community, and even the community joining up with SAPS. I don't think it's going to be resolved. The Zamazamas, they are well organized, well oiled. Uh, 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 what can I say?
They're
A
organized. Yeah.
machine,
Organization, yeah.
right?
And uh, I'm not sure, but I have an eye authority that they are actually getting they are being armed from the Lesotho army, so they are getting
Ooh.
the arms and things from the army themselves. So this thing is it's just too big for
It's
SAP.
too huge.
It's just
Absolutely.
too huge.
It's too
The army
huge.
needs to come in,
Mm.
and all the entities that Pastor Sherman has mentioned has to come in. The Zamazamas are really they only the workers.
They're the foot
The people,
soldiers. They're
they're
just
just
the
the
foot
foot soldiers.
soldiers.
The people that are
Absolutely.
really benefiting is, as you yourself said, Julie, it's guys that sitting in high-rise offices, uh, uh,
Mm.
and they don't want to be exposed, or they wouldn't want to be involved. So they really need to investigate into that and try and trace it from the foothold soldiers to where the
The buck
main guys,
stops.
the buck stops.
Okay. Pastor,
Yeah,
final words from you, please.
Final words from me would be the following, Julie. I appeal to national government to have a political will to come and make a difference, because I think that is our key thorn in our flesh. Dat you know, as the Afrikaans is as 'n doring in die vlees in. Our thorn in our flesh is that there is no political will from government institutions to come in and make a difference and improve the situation and also protect the lives of citizens of this country.
Okay. Colored Lives Matter is Riverlea ticking a time bomb. That was Clint Winnaar, Riverlea community leader, and Pastor Anthony Sherman, chairperson of Riverlea Extension 2 Residents Association and Riverlea Extension 2 Community Police Forum. There you have it. This is obviously an ongoing story which we are going to keep an eye on, and probably we'll be talking with you guys again in a
Thank you,
couple of
Julie.
days' time. Thank you indeed for your time. Go well. God bless and please stay
Much
safe.
obliged. God bless you.
God bless you,
Amen.
Julie. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Thank you, and you. It is exactly 9:37 News and Views on Salam Media. Standing by to talk with us is Apa Tahira Saluji, Marketing Coordinator for Ashraful Aid. So please stay with us.